Dear friends, we share the most exciting stories. Subscribe to our channel and stay tuned for amazing adventures. Cold morning. A cold morning with a light drizzle. Gray clouds hung low over the city, pressing down on the shoulders of every passerby. Andrew stood beneath the awning at the entrance of a modern office building with mirrored walls. His fingers trembled, not from the cold, but from nerves. In one hand he held a folder with his resume, in the other the small hand of his 5-year-old daughter, Emily. The girl, wrapped in a pink scarf, clutched a stuffed bear with a torn ear to her chest. "Daddy, why does it smell like this here?" she whispered, "like a hospital." "Because everything's clean," he smiled, though his stomach was tight with anxiety. "People work here. Everything has to be perfect." He knelt down to fix her hat. Emily's eyes were serious, large, bright, and filled with that same quiet trust her late mother once had. Andrew sighed. If not for her, he would have given up long ago. Today was an important day. A final interview at Grant Investments, a major firm he'd admired from afar. The position, logistics manager, steady salary, benefits, security. Everything he'd dreamed of during the 2 long years since his wife passed away. He had made it through the online tests, the phone screening, and now this last in-person stage. But that morning, an email came from Emily's daycare. Quarantine. Group closed. He hadn't been able to find anyone to watch her. Even the neighbor was out of town. Canceling wasn't an option. "Listen, kitten," he said softly, squeezing her hand. "Remember how I told you Daddy needs to work?" "Uh-huh. Now we're just going to talk to some people. You'll sit quietly in the corner, okay?" "I'll be quiet." Like a mouse, she pressed a finger to her lips. Andrew smiled. A mouse, huh? If only they'd let her stay. He pushed open the glass door. Inside, it smelled like coffee and polished wood. The marble floor reflected everything, too clean, too perfect. Behind the reception desk sat a woman in a navy suit, hair immaculate, eyes cold. "Good morning," Andrew said politely. "I'm here for the 10 o'clock interview. Andrew Peterson." The woman glanced at Emily, frowned slightly. "I'm sorry, you're with a child?" "Yes, unfortunately, the daycare's closed today." "She'll be quiet, I promise." She sighed, pressed her earpiece. "Anna Stevens, there's a candidate here. With a child, yes. Right now, then, without looking at him, please take a seat." "I'll check." Andrew sat on the edge of the couch. Emily swung her legs, staring at a large painting of a bridge lost in fog. "Daddy, is that a fairy tale bridge?" "Maybe," he said, trying to smile. "The kind people cross when they're brave." Minutes crawled by. The receptionist kept typing, occasionally glancing at them with thinly veiled judgment. People hurried through the lobby, men in suits, women on heels, phones glued to their hands. One man, clearly a manager, stopped and eyed Emily. "Well, what do we have here?" he asked sarcastically. Andrew stood up. "Good morning. I'm here for the interview. The daycare—" "With children?" The man cut him off. "We're not a daycare center, you know." He turned to the receptionist. "Call the next candidate." "But I'm scheduled for 10, the man raised an eyebrow. "We're looking for professionals who can handle things without excuses." The words hit like a slap. Andrew swallowed hard. "I understand this looks unprofessional, but I'm a single father. I never miss work. I meet deadlines." "Today was just an exception." "No exceptions," the man said curtly, waving him off as if brushing away an insect. "Good day." Andrew nodded silently. "Come on, Emily." Outside, the drizzle hadn't stopped. His hand shook as he opened the umbrella. He felt humiliated, small, powerless. Everything he'd fought for, slipping away again. But beside him walked Emily, a small pink bundle holding her bear. They sat on a bench under an awning. "Daddy, they didn't give you the job?" "No," he said with a faint smile. "Maybe they just didn't have the right position." "You're still a good daddy," she whispered, resting her head on his shoulder. He closed his eyes. Tears pressed behind his eyelids, but he couldn't let them fall. Not in front of her. Just then, the office door opened. A tall woman in a dark blue suit stepped out, phone in hand. She moved briskly, then suddenly slowed. Her eyes met Andrew's, then Emily's. For a moment she frowned as if recognizing something. Andrew looked away, but Emily waved cheerfully. "Hi, you have pretty shoes." The woman blinked, surprised, then smiled faintly. "Thank you, sweetheart." She hesitated, then walked on, only to glance back once more before disappearing inside. Andrew thought nothing of it. He just stared at the rain, each drop falling calmly, indifferently, as if the world didn't care about his pain. He didn't know that short encounter would change everything. That evening, in their tiny rented kitchen, the smell of potatoes and tea filled the air. The rain outside had turned into a mist. Andrew sat at the table, scrolling through job listings. Courier, warehouse worker, night guard. Same thing every night. Clicking just to feel less useless. Emily was drawing nearby. A house with a red roof, a sun, and 2 people holding hands. "That's us," she said, smiling. "It's beautiful," he murmured, eyes on the screen. Then the phone rang. Unknown number. Probably spam, he thought, but answered anyway. "Hello? Good evening. Is this Andrew Peterson?" A calm, confident female voice. "Yeah, speaking." "This is Helen Grant, CEO of Grant Investments." He froze. His heart skipped. I'm sorry, did you say—" "Yes, you were at our office today." He straightened up instantly. "Yes, ma'am." "I was. I apologize if bringing my daughter caused any trouble." "On the contrary," she interrupted gently. "I saw you both near the elevator." She gave me a teddy bear. Andrew blushed. "Yes, sorry about that. She's just very open-hearted." "That's wonderful," Helen said softly. "You know, I've lost a lot to my work. Family time, people I cared about. Your daughter reminded me that kindness isn't weakness." Andrew stayed silent. "I'd like you to come back tomorrow," she continued. "Same place. No interviews, no tests. The position is yours, if you still want it." He couldn't speak for a second. "You're serious?" "Completely. I don't just hire professionals, I hire people with heart." "You impressed me." He exhaled, his throat tight. "Thank you. I don't know what to say. Just say, see you tomorrow." "See you tomorrow," he whispered. When the call ended, he sat frozen for a moment, afraid it was a dream. Then he turned to Emily. "Guess what, sweetheart? Daddy got the job." Emily clapped her hands, eyes wide. "Really? And did the lady keep my bear?" "Yes, she did." "And I think he helped her." Emily nodded wisely. "I told you, he's magic." Andrew laughed, truly laughed, for the first time in months. He lifted her up and spun her around the tiny kitchen. Outside, the drizzle stopped. Behind the gray clouds, the first faint ray of sunlight broke through. A quiet promise that things really could get better.